Frosty root beer. Let's start with a classic. Frosty was a root beer brand that began way back in 1939. It had a creamy, smooth flavor and was a huge part of the drive-in restaurant scene in the 1950s. But its story has a bit of a sad ending. The brand was eventually purchased by the same company that owned Dad's Root Beer. They put all their marketing muscle behind Dad's and just left Frosty to fade into obscurity. A classic root beer that was a victim of a little family favoritism. Aspen Soda. In the mid-1970s, Pepsi introduced a short-lived but memorable soda called Aspen. It was an apple-flavored soda, which was a pretty unique idea at the time. It was marketed as a refreshing alternative to traditional colas. I remember it had this bright green packaging and a really crisp, clean flavor. It gained a small following, mostly out west, but it just never caught on nationwide and was phased out by the early 80s. The apple-flavored soda that was a little too ahead of its time. 7-Up Gold. Now this one was just plain weird. In 1988, the 7-Up company released 7-Up Gold. It was a spicy, amber-colored soda with notes of cinnamon and caramel. And here's where it gets confusing. It was marketed with the tagline, "Never had it, never will," referring to caffeine. The only problem? It did contain caffeine. The confusion that came with the Uncola company selling a dark, caffeinated, spicy drink led to low sales, and it was canceled in less than a year. A soda so confusing, even the company that made it didn't seem to know what it was. We've talked about some weird flavors, but it's about to get even stranger. Stick around, because we're going to get to the soda that had solid objects floating inside it on purpose. Slice. In 1984, Pepsi introduced Slice to compete with 7-Up and Sprite, but it had a secret weapon. The original Slice was advertised as containing 10% real fruit juice. This was a huge deal back then and made it seem like a healthier alternative. It came in a ton of flavors, with the original lemon lime being the most popular. Over time, that 10% juice claim was slowly downgraded, and by 2000, Slice was being replaced by the more popular Sierra Mist brand. The soda that started with real fruit juice and ended with just a memory. Surge. In 1996, Coca-Cola launched Surge as its direct competitor to the massively popular Mountain Dew. It was a citrus-flavored soda with a ton of caffeine and a bright green color. It was marketed with an edgy, extreme attitude to appeal to teenagers and the emerging culture of video games and action sports. And for a while, it was a huge hit. It was maybe just a little ahead of its time, though. By 2003, it was on its way out, but it developed such a passionate cult following that Coca-Cola has periodically brought it back in limited runs. The edgy, high-caffeine citrus soda that was the fuel for a generation of 90s kids. Orbits. This is the one you've been waiting for. In 1997, the clearly Canadian beverage company released Orbits, a non-carbonated, fruit-flavored drink that looked exactly like a lava lamp. It was a clear liquid that had small, colorful, gelatinous balls suspended inside it. It was marketed as a texturally enhanced alternative beverage. You didn't just drink it, you experienced it. It was incredibly popular for a very short time, mostly because of how bizarre it looked. But the novelty wore off fast, and it was quickly discontinued. The lava lamp you could drink, whether that was a good idea or not. Nehi. Nehi was a classic brand of fruit-flavored soda that was introduced way back in the 1920s. It came in a variety of flavors, like grape, orange, and peach. It had a sweet, fruity taste and was a huge competitor to the bigger brands for decades. The brand eventually became part of Royal Crown, or RC, Cola in the 1950s, and the Nehi name was later retired during the 1990s. A true classic from the early days of soda, known for its simple, delicious fruit flavors. Chocola. Chocola was a chocolate-flavored soda that was introduced in the 1950s. Yes, you heard that right. Chocolate soda. It had a sweet, creamy taste with a rich chocolate flavor that was certainly different from anything else on the market. The brand's slogan was, "The greatest chocolate drink in the world." While it was pretty popular, especially in the Northeast, the drink all but disappeared sometime in the 1970s. A unique idea that answered the question no one was asking. What if my soda tasted like chocolate? Josta. In the 1990s, before the energy drink craze really exploded, Pepsi gave us Josta. It was marketed as a high-energy soda that contained guarana, a natural stimulant. It was made with a blend of fruit juices, including guava and passion fruit, which gave it a distinctive and tropical taste. It was popular among young people who were looking for something more adventurous. Despite its early success, Josta struggled and was eventually discontinued in the late 90s. One of the first energy drinks, before we even really knew what an energy drink was. Hubba Bubba soda. And finally, in the 1980s, the makers of the popular bubblegum brand had a wild idea. What if we made a soda that tasted exactly like Hubba Bubba bubblegum? It was marketed as a fun, refreshing drink for young people, with a focus on its signature bubblegum flavor. The brand even featured a cartoon mascot, a hip, sunglass-wearing kangaroo. But it struggled to find a following. I mean, who really wants to drink bubblegum? And it was eventually discontinued. A soda that finally answered the age-old question, what happens if you swallow your gum? Apparently, you just get thirsty. From the bizarre floating balls in orbits to the legendary caffeine kick of Jolt Cola, these weren't just drinks. They were a part of our history. They are gone now, but the memories and the flavors remain. What's the one forgotten soda from your past that you wish you could taste just one more time? Let us know in the comments below. And if this trip down the soda aisle of memory made you thirsty, please give it a like and subscribe for more.